Hi Eltham High School. Welcome to this video about our setter and hitter volleyball system. So this is specifically directed at our Year 7s. So we'll be learning this system of play at training. So this is just here to give you an overview, a bit of a refresher, just to make sure that you understand the way positions work in volleyball. Alrighty, so our system looks at two types of players, hitters and setters, and we'll go through that with you today. So the first one we're going to talk about is rotation 1. Now rotation 1 should be very familiar to you because it's really the only system we've played so far. Okay, the only difference today is we're going to be talking about positions. Alrighty, so if you remember, excuse me, if you remember, these are the positional positions on a volleyball court, 1 to 6. Okay, and as you can see, they kind of go backwards counterclockwise. Okay, so the reason why they're numbered like that though is basically the sequence of your serving order. All right, so player 1 is mostly the player that serves first, followed by 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, they also determine where you should roughly be on the court. Okay, important to note though that even though you're in a position, that doesn't mean you're restricted to that area of the court. Okay, it's all about where you are in relation to someone else, okay, or the other positions. So where you are in relation to, so let's start with position 3. All right, the only thing you have to remember is you have to be on the right side of position 4, on the left side of position 2, and in front of position 6. So that means position 3 could start over here, they could start over here, they could even go there if they wanted to, or there, because they abide by those rules. Okay, so for us, the setter-hitter system is going to look like this. All right, so we have 3 setters on court, okay, and they alternate, okay, and then 3 hitters on court in between. So we'll go setter-hitter, setter-hitter, setter-hitter. Okay, when you're in those positions, that is your role for the team. All right, but for the most part, if you're a setter, you're only going to be a setter when you're in position 3 in the middle and position 2 on the right side of the net. All other roles then are basically the same. You're a hitter. Okay, so if you're a setter but you're in position 4, you are playing as a hitter. Okay, so that's important to note. All right, so let's put it into action. So this is rotation 1 serving, and as you can see, I've used some characters from Haiku. All right, the black-haired gentleman is Kageyama. All right, and in the show, he is a setter. Okay, and the red-haired character is Hinata. All right, and Hinata in the show is a hitter. Okay, he's a special type of hitter, but we're just looking at hitters and setters right now. So this is the one you should be most familiar with. Okay, the only difference now is that we have designated this player as a setter. Okay. This player over in 4 is also designated as a setter, but as I said, they're in position 4, so they're playing as a hitter right now. Okay, so pretty straightforward one. The service is made, and then the server has to run into play. Okay, and we set up in our base defense. Okay, so you've heard me stress really heavily why this defense is important. Okay, 3 players at the net, 2 players up on the attack line, 1 player covering deep. All right, so it makes like a nice, neat triangle. Okay. Notice how these players are just inside the blocker. All right. Reason being is they have to cover the whole center strip of the court. All right. We don't want 6 going all the way up to the attack line to try to handle the ball. Okay. You've got to be thinking sideways in volleyball, trying to cut the ball off. All right. So that's the rotation 1 serving. All right. So we've unfortunately lost the point, so we need to go into serve receive. Okay. And then we go back. We peel players off the net. All right, to help cover on the serve receive. So the reason why we do that is you're not allowed to block a serve, so there's no point standing there. Okay, so these players are ready to go. All right, you see the 2 players on the net come back off. All right, 1 player stays on the net, the setter. The setter always stays at the net on the serve receive, okay, because they're our target player. All right, our 2 backcourt players just move. This one moves back and sideways, and this one moves sideways a little bit. You don't want to stand directly behind the passer in front of you. So if you're a backcourt player, you may need to move the player in front of you left or right. Okay. This player here, because the setter's not coming back, kind of hedges their bets. Doesn't go all the way deep, doesn't stay too short, sort of in between. Okay, in between the 2 lines of passes. All right. The setter should tuck a little more central, even more than that if you like. Okay, because it's much easier to pass the ball to the middle than it is to pass the ball way over to the side. And then same with that, it's also easier to make a set from the middle than it is to make a set all the way over there. Okay, so the setter tucks in. So ball comes over from our opponent, we make the pass. Okay, we set the ball up. All right, and our hitter attacks the ball, hits it over the net, boom, and everyone moves into base. Okay, it needs to become instinctual. We put the ball over, we get into base. All right, because all of our defense goes from here. Okay, so that's how the serve receive on rotation 1 works. Spike the ball over, we're ready to defend if our opponent gets the ball up. Okay, so rotation 2. All right, so we'll get our positions on court. Basically, we've all rotated one position, and it should be the reverse of the first slide I showed you. Alright, so now we have 2 hitters in the front court, 1 setter in the front court. Okay, 2 setters in the back court, 1 hitter in the back court. Okay, so we're going to try to manipulate the rotation to suit our purpose. Alright, so we're ready to serve, our player's gone back to serve. Okay, but what we actually want to do is we're kind of not in our home bases. Alright, so a setter, their home base is over here in 2. Hitters, home base is over here in 3 or 4. Okay, so we're trying to get those players into their home base. Alright, and this will become more, why we do this becomes more and more apparent the more you go through volleyball. So what we do, if you remember I said you don't have to be in a space. You just have to be on a particular side of the players around you. Alright, so this player here only has to be on the right hand side of position 3. Okay, so we're going to move the hitter straight to the middle. Alright, before we've even made the serve. We want to do that because any overpasses that happen for our opponent generally are somewhere in the middle. Okay, so we want to have a hitter ready to block. Okay, then as the serve's made, all right, so they're the players I'm talking about, and there's the making sure you're on the correct side of the player. All right, not a space on the court. So the serve's made, and our setter's in motion gets to their home base. Okay. And of course the server runs in and we're ready to defend and we're in our ideal positions. Okay, hitters are ready to hit, setters are ready to set. Alrighty, so it's a little bit easier when we serve, alright, because we have time to move. Okay, it's a little bit trickier when we do our serve receive. Alright, so for this one I've already pulled back our passes except for these 2, because these 2 are the ones I want to show you what's going on. Alrighty, so these guys are ready to pass. Not much changes in their roles there. This, again though, we want this hitter more central. So we make the hitter go into that central position, and you just saw the setter slide across a little bit to ensure that the setter stays on the left-hand side of position 2. Okay, so there we have it again. Again, we want that hitter there because the ball goes there a lot. Right, so we want to anchor someone there, just like the previous one when we were serving. We anchor them there because the ball goes there a lot. Okay, so our opponent serves. And our setter's in motion. Alright, boom, makes the pass. Hopefully the setter's in the good spot, or hopefully the pass is good. We set the ball up, setting out to the left side this time. Alright, attack the ball, everyone moves into base again. And as you can see, we're now in our ideal setup. Okay, so that's how we are going to be playing our rotations. We're only going to be doing that twice. Alright, because the next rotation, okay, it's back to the previous one. Different players, right, but it's the previous rotation 1 just repeats again. So we just keep bouncing between rotation 1, rotation 2, rotation 1, rotation 2. Alright, so watch this video a few times just to make sure you understand, okay, focusing on the different spots each time. Alrighty, if you have any questions, let me know.